There's blood everywhere. It's on the ceilings, it's on the walls, it's on the floor, it's all over the body. See, there's just blood everywhere. It's cool how it makes those patterns on everything. There's just blood everywhere. You could splash around in it, and then you make more patterns on the walls. See, there's different kinds of blood patterns. There's the ones that are made from arteries, or arterial splatter. It's a funny way to say that, but it's hard to say. So I had to say it kind of funny because it's a funny way of saying it, because it's a funny word, set of words. Anyways, it makes these kind of like juts, like these little globs of blood and kind of a pattern in a stream, oftentimes going down, because when your arteries are bleeding, that means you're dying. And then there's the ones from like when you're stabbing and then pulling back and then stabbing again, which makes this nice little arc pattern. Those are the ones that you usually see on things, so the thin, archy kind of pattern. And you can actually sometimes tell what kind of weapon was used by how thick the blood was. So if it was something like an axe, it's going to make something different from like a butcher's knife or something like that. And then you got your drops, but then there's different kinds of drops. You can actually tell if one drop landed within another by the way the satellite. And then there's like satellites, because if it's like a big drop of blood, it'll like drop, and then sometimes like it'll come up and then like splatter a little bit beside it, like splash a bit more elsewhere, and you can tell how high it was from when it dropped, because the higher the blood dropped, the more splatter and the bigger the satellites, than the lower. It won't hit the ground as hard, so it won't splatter as much. See, there's so many interesting things about blood. And do you know, if you stab someone but don't take the thing you stabbed them with out, they won't die as quickly. Actually, that you could actually save their life that way, because see, when you stab something, you push something in, yeah, you sever the veins and the arteries, but then you put a cork in it with your knife or arrow or whatever. But when you rip it back out, you're cutting even more. And you took the cork out, so it's gonna bleed now. See, blood is so cool. People underestimate how awesome blood is. You just can stab and stab and stab, and all the blood will come out. Did you know that you can lose? Did you know that you only need to lose 40% of your blood to die? 40 fucking %, and then you're dead. And when you stab someone in an artery, bleed out like that 40% of blood in like fucking 7 seconds or so, because when there's like the drop in blood pressure, because there's like blood escaping, the body senses a drop in blood pressure and it's like, oh shit, we gotta send more blood over there. So it effectively pumps the blood out of your body. That's kind of a evolutionary fault, if you ask me, but because I guess blood can't clot clean enough. But do you know why besides the fact that you kind of like cut a hose with liquid in it, but one of the reasons why you bleed is to clean the wound. So you're cleaning the wound with blood, which is interesting. To flush out. That's also part of the blood pressure drop thingy, to flush out any kind of infection and like things that could cause problems and complications and infections and stuff. See? Blood is just cool.